Oh, I think we're live. Finally. Okay. I think we're live. All right. Now we're live. Hey, everybody. It's Jochen Hayden, and I'm back with the Hellsen versus Hayden Part 2 campaign. I'm playing Japan. He's playing the Allies. And tonight, I'm going to go ahead and go around the map and give everybody an update on what's been going on here. It's been over a month since I've done a live stream. So I want to give everybody an update and give people a chance to ask questions. Hey, Renu, nice to see you, man. You're always here first, and I'm glad that you are. Thanks for being part of this. Give me about 15 seconds to get my links out, and then we'll get started. I just like to post links in case people want to watch it. All right, I think we're ready to go. So obviously there's that many people here now, and a lot of people are going to watch this after the fact, but that's okay. All I want to do is give an update of what's going on in the campaign because it's been a long time and there's a lot of stuff happening right now. So let's just go ahead and start. I think what I'm going to do tonight is start at the top of the map and go around counterclockwise and talk about important things. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and pop open the industry tab and we'll take a look and see how that's going. All right. We'll take a look first at my engine production. So I would say so far everything's going fine. Hey, Sultan, nice to see you, man. Yep. Hey, Sarge, man, I'm getting a good turnout here. Sultan, yeah. The Keto Tie's been on the move for over 2 weeks, and I've been very, very careful not to show where it's at. I didn't want anybody to see it until it was time to debut it. So that's what we're going to be doing next turn. It's going to be a big debut, and hopefully it goes well. Sarge, nice to see you, man. Real quick, I'm going to go over some industry stuff before I continue on to the rest of the stuff going on. So this is what I got going on for my industry and production right now. So we're currently building these engines. Everything's expanding just fine. These guys are in research and development, but they're coming along pretty good. Let's see. I'm starting to get a nice little pool on the HA-35s, and these engines are probably the most important engines for Japan for the first couple years of the war. Let me tell you what uses this in scenario 2. The Oscar, the Tojo, the Zero, I believe maybe the Jake too, a lot does. Okay, so, and I want to get this 500 pool bonus very soon because then I get additional research and development upgrades from that. And we are definitely getting ahead of the game here. Well, Sultan, I want to show it because I think it's important. You know, not everybody gets to see the inner workings of the Japan side, and I want to show these things. So if you have questions, now's a great time to ask. So anyway, we're making gains on the HA-35s every day. The pool is going up and not down, despite aircraft production. So I think we're going to get our 500 engine bonus pretty soon. Is there your name Llama? Nice to meet you, Llama. I don't think I've met you before on my stream. Welcome. We're just going over some engine production stuff. All right, HA-45s are doing good. All right, I think that's it for engines. Let's take a look at air production. I'll sort it by aircraft type. All right, so we're producing 10 Tinas a month, and a Tina is a Japanese transport for the Navy side, the Imperial Japanese Navy. These Topsies, okay, I'm producing the Type 1 Topsy, right, at 13 a month. And because it uses a special type of engine that is a dead-end engine, I think I can show it to you. I believe it's the... Let's see. What engine does the Topsy 1 use? It uses the... I think it uses the Amakaze. Oh, well, I'm glad you made it, man. The Amakaze engine here, right, the Hitachi Amakaze. I don't want to make any more of these engines, and the only aircraft that needs it is the Topsy 1. So I'm going to produce enough Topsies to use up those engines, probably until about April, May of 1942. And by that time, we're going to convert into the Topsy 2, which uses an engine that I'm already producing actively. So that's what I'm doing with that. We're not making any Sonias. We got plenty in the pool, and I don't really want to keep this aircraft going. It's not particularly great. We're not building any Lilies because I don't see the need. I think the Sallies can do what the Lilies can do, but do it better. Currently producing about 11 Dinas a month because we're just not losing a lot of these. This is staying ahead of attrition. Okay, my biggest seller right here, the thing that I am most important that I got to get going is the Oscar here. As you can see, we have quite a bit of production lined up. I want to get to about 150 frames a month because we have a lot of Nate units that have to be replaced. The Nate is it's a pre-war aircraft, and the Oscar and its additional variants that are coming are the most important to me. So I'm expanding them nice and slow. I actually have 5 factories making these, and I'm just slowly adding a little bit each day to continue getting up to 150 a month. And that should give us enough pool to replace these Nates pretty quick. Okay, we're currently making almost at 40 Sally 2s a month, so that's a little more than 1 aircraft a day. It's not currently keeping up with our losses, but that's kind of okay because we have a lot of these in the pool. So by the time we get this up and running, hopefully our losses drop down and we don't lose so many every day. Making 15 Mavises a month, that's actually good for me because we're not losing that many Mavises right now. So we're keeping up on the ops losses and then gaining some. Betties, we're a little low in the pool, but I'm only making about 1 a day because the intent is to actually not go down the Betty line. I'm actually going to swap over to the G3 M3 line, and I want to, you know what? I think I want to show you guys why. Let me do something here. I'm going to show you something cool. Give me a second. Let me show you why I'm not going to go down the Betty line, but I'm actually going to go down the Nell line. Let me bust open this tracker real quick. Fire this up. Okay, so let's go full screen for a second. I want to show you guys something cool. All right, full screen. And we're going to take a look at this really cool feature in Tracker called Aircraft Comparison. Watch this. So we're going to go look at Japanese Navy bombers. And here's the G4M1 on the left. And on the right, we're going to have the aircraft that I plan on going further down the line with for quite some time. The G3M3 Nell. Check this thing out. I hope you guys can see this, but basically what I'm looking at here is that this G3M3 Nell is more or less every bit as good as the Betty. Let's see what else. It carries radar. It carries a cannon for defense. The exact same load as the Betty M1. But look at the performance. Much better performance. Higher altitude, more climb rate. Durability is about the same. The range. Look at the range on this thing. 21 standard, 26 extended. This thing's insane. Yeah, the G3 M3 Nell is really good. And I want it. And we can get it in May of 1942. The G4 M2 Betty never really even comes close to it. So this Nell is actually the direction we're going to go in. We're not going to go down the Betty line. The Nell is better, in my opinion. So that's what we're doing with that. Okay, let me go back to standard view here. Hope you guys didn't mind going down that path a little bit. Sultan, your question is, do I have player-defined upgrades on? The answer is player-defined upgrades are on. Yes, they are. I would not play without it. That I don't want to give up that much control. I like to be able to control what I'm doing with my aircraft. So, yeah, player-defined upgrade is a must for me in any of these games that I intend to play. Oh yeah, yeah, I did see your chart, Macho. Yeah, the G3M3 is a very good aircraft. It's every bit as good as it's better than the Betty, honestly. Anyway, where was I at? We were talking about industry, right? Industry. Nope, that's not what I need. I need. All right, we were talking about aircraft production. And let's see, what else am I working on? Okay, so we're currently not building the peat any longer. I don't intend to go down that peat line at all. Here's something I do need to tick up is my Jake production. These Jakes are very important for swapping out. I need to swap these out while all these older airframes. So I do need to get the Jake production going up a lot faster. So next turn I will expand this. It's too late for it now. All right, 1 second. I gotta check something. Yes, definitely. The Nell M3 can last into the Peggy T for sure. All right, 1 second. All right, continuing on. We're also expanding the Kate production line. We currently have a very nice surplus of Kates, 55 in the pool. So I'm kind of moving this one up nice and slow. There's no real rush to get that done. Vowels, I do need to pick it up just a little bit because our pool is low. We have a lot of training squadrons that need to be outfitted with these. And lastly, zero production. I'm starting to wonder if I need to open up a second production line here because we're not keeping up with attrition and I have a lot of units that need to swap into these zeros. So I'm probably going to go ahead and open up a second production line of zeros at some point here just to get the production rates up just a bit more. All right, let's see. Air R&D is going pretty slow because it always does. Let's sort by aircraft type. So here's what I got going on. Going heavy into the A6M30 because I want to get to the 3A0 faster because I think that's a very good fighter. The 3A is oftentimes underappreciated, and full credit to Desert Wolf for pointing it out to me. I never really bothered looking at the M3A. It's actually really good. If you want, I can bust that open on the. I can bust that open on Tracker and show you guys what the comparison is on that because it's really good. A6M and the 3A0. All right, I'm going to show you guys the comparison of the A6M3A because a lot of people take it for granted. And there's some distinct differences with it that I think make it better for our needs. So here we go. This is the comparison of the A6M5, which most people endeavor to get to quickly, right? But here's some things that the 3A does better than the M5. For one, it's got much better range. Look at this. So the max range is 38 to 31. Normal range is 8 and 9. The climb rate is almost as good as the M5. Maneuverability is substantially better across the board. Durability is going to be a bit lower because it doesn't have. It's not as strong built as that, but it just has more range. And right now, I value range over anything else. We need range, and this is carrier capable. So I'm going to go ahead and invest heavily into the A6 M3A, and make that a primary fighter over the M5 for a while. So, all right. Done with that. Let's go back. There we go. All right, that's it for that. Naval shipyard stuff, there's not much to talk about here. Merchant shipping, I've done a little bit of expansion, but not a lot. In fact, I think I only have 2 bases expanding total here. Let me make sure that's the case. Yep. 2 more bases expanding total, and that's it. I don't need to get too crazy with the merchant shipping. All right. So I got to industry. I want to kind of go around the map now and show you guys what's going on as best I can. All right. So here's my Aleutians Island campaign. And for the time being, I've gone ahead and called a temporary strategic pause on this operation. And I'll tell you why. Last turn, we had a patrol boat that was sunk about right here where my mouse is pointing. And here's for reference, ADAC is over here. This is where the patrol boat was sunk, and that's where Hokkaido's at, all right? So 3 American destroyers came through here and hit a patrol boat that I had set out here as a picket ship. Sultan, I'll show you in just a second. I will show you in just a second. Let me finish my thought real quick with this. So one of my patrol boats was taken out here. So that could mean any number of things. This could be a surface combat raid towards the home islands. This could be an ADVON, an advanced party for the carrier raid aimed at the home islands. Or this could be some sort of raid where he's trying to come around and attack the Aleutians. So out of an abundance of caution, because I don't have a lot of assets up right here, right now, I've taken all of my task forces that were moving around troops and stuff to capture these dot bases, and I've packed them up. I put them in port to hide them a bit. That doesn't mean they're entirely safe, right? It doesn't mean they're entirely safe, but typically most people are going to have their carrier set up for naval strike and not a port strike. So that definitely gives me an opportunity to survive that if he's coming up here with carriers. And if he's coming up this way towards the home islands with carriers, I have about 3-day head start notice on that, right? So that was definitely something concerning that happened in the last turn. So here's some of the precautions that I am taking for that. I'm relocating some Naval Search assets. Did I not do that? Oh, I thought I did. Well, that's concerning. Okay. I thought I set these guys to... Well, no matter. One more day of training ain't going to hurt them, but... basically, I'm relocating more Naval Search to this area. And we are building up the airfield at Ominato. And next turn, it will be size 4, which means full operations for my twin-engine bombers. I already have an air HQ here. So, we can defend against a carrier raid right now with over 100 twin-engine torpedo bombers. That doesn't mean that... You know, surely a lot of these will get shredded, but some will get through. And if we're able to hit his carriers, it would be a huge blow to him right now. I'm also capable of moving fighters back to here on 1-day notice. And with the carrier raid on Hokkaido, if that's what he's intending to do, he's going to have to be kind of close to it to hit anything because of the short range of the American attack aircraft. So that means he's going to be deep within the range of Ominato, right? So basically anywhere out to here, basically size range 14 is what I would want to maintain so that my bombers can have escort. But yeah, I am taking precautions. And if I see any sign that his aircraft are coming this way or his carriers, I'm going to take all these convoys and pack them up and hide them. So that's what's going on. And Sultan, you asked about supply production. I'll just go ahead and show you right now. So let's take a look at industry. I'm going to go back to full screen and show you what trackers shows me. So here's what we see right now. This is what we're making right now per turn. We're currently producing 26,136 supply between the oil refineries, light industry, and heavy industry. So of that, light industry contributes 10,000 supply. Oil refineries, 1,000. and the heavy industry is producing 14,000. So not all of this is indigenous to the home islands and my currently what you start out with. I've captured a few bases that have heavy industry, light industry in them. So this is what I'm making between what I'm building up and what I've captured so far. So 26,000 supply per day. That doesn't mean that we're getting 26,000 net. That's gross, okay? Net is going to be a bit less because we're doing a lot of expanding. A lot of industry is building up right now. So we're probably actually running a bit of a deficit every turn. Let me see if I can take a look at this. What is our deficit every day? I don't even know. I have to look it up later. I'm sure that tracker's got a function where I can run a history on that. I just don't feel like doing it right now. But yeah. There you go. Hopefully that answers your question. Anyway. Let's see. Any important ships being launched soon? Okay, Llama, good question. Any important ships being launched soon? Well, let's use Tracker and we'll look at that as well. Ship production. So let's go look at ship production. I think I'm still full screen, right? All right, let's go full screen again, and we'll take a look at ships that are being launched. You know what? We don't need to go full screen for this. We'll go in game and do it that way. It'd probably be easier for you to see. So ship availability. Here's what we got coming online in the next 30 days. We've got a couple sub chasers, an armed merchant cruiser, which is just a really fancy a cargo ship. We have a sub tender, another AO, that's a replenishment. The Tachikaze, this is pretty good. This is a Kagero class destroyer. These are some of the best that I get. So I can always use more destroyers. Let's see what else. Oh, the show. Oh, here's a good one. The Shoho comes online in 22 days. This is pretty important to me. This is going to be a very nice addition to the mini Kido Butai. All right, so right now that has an aircraft capacity of 30. So that's definitely good to have. We'll definitely get that into the fight. Let's see, another AO, yeah. A bunch of sub chasers. So yeah, that's what we're getting in the next 30 days. So I would say the destroyer and the Shoho in the next 22 days are going to be pretty important. Let's see here. What else we got? I already sunk the Shoho in my game. Well, Sarge, I don't, your opponent is actually trying to fight. Mine is not. All right, so looking into home islands here, there's not a whole lot to discuss. It's just moving ships around. My main, talk about logistics real quick. I've got 3 main areas that I'm pulling stuff out of. I've got Sakhalin, where we got oil and resources coming out of there. Hokkaido, where we have resources coming out. And then basically for everywhere else, I'm using Fusan. So here's what I got at Fusan. I'm working night and day to build up the port capacity to size 8. We have 500 engineers at Fusan building up this port. Once we get to size 8, we can run a ton of ships here. And using the rail networks and the road networks, we're pulling resources out of China. And eventually, once we connect all these lines here and take all these Chinese out, we can pull resources all the way from Singapore through these road networks, through China, up through Manchukuo, and down into Fusan. So you don't necessarily need to go out of Kaijo and Port Arthur, right? Eventually, we're training the game to start drawing resources all the way down to Fusan. And from Fusan, it's one turn journey from Fukuoka or Shimonoseki, right? So that's basically what I've got going on right now. I've got 5 CS convoys that are moving resources from Fusan into Fukuoka and Shimonoseki. And basically that's all I'm doing for resources at the moment, and I don't see any issue with that. As support gets bigger, the draw gets bigger. And again, I don't want to take any credit for this plan of mine because it's not my plan. Desert Wolf has taught me about this. So basically, if you force the draw out of one point, the game starts moving your resources to that point. Okay, you're training the game to know, hey, this is where the resources need to go. We need to start shipping them there. And every week or so, I get a huge shipment of resources in here. It shoots up to over 100,000, and then the ships just keep drawing it down. And every turn, we pull resources out of other places, right? And we send them down to Fusan, and we move them into Fukuoka and Shimonoseki, and from there, it feeds all the heavy and light industry in Japan. So, we can talk about China. Let's see, Sarge, I don't really need any engineered vehicles. I have, so this engineer number, if you look at it, I got 6 engineered vehicles and 500 engineer squads. Every engineer vehicle counts for 5 regular engineer squads, so this is almost more like 530. That's more than enough to do what we gotta do. Because in addition to that, I'm also building up Port Arthur. I have 463 engineers here. We're trying to get this to a size 8 airfield because once I do that, it doubles the amount of aviation support that I've got. And then we're also working on Mukden. I've got 486 engineers here, and we're well on our way to getting this to a size 8 airfield. And again, this is one of my major training bases in where are we at? Manchukuo, right? Once I get this to a size 8 airfield, I can take literally half of these aviation support units and move them somewhere else because I don't need as many, right? We double their output when we go to a size 8 airfield, which means I can take them and move them into China to support my operations there. And these engineers are all just basically from the restricted divisions and stuff that are already in Kwangtung Army. I just moved them into these bases to build them up because I don't want to pay political points to move them out, right? I don't want to move them out into China because I got to pay for that based on our house rules. So since I can move them around the Kwangtung Army, I've done that. As you can see, quite a bit of the engineers are actually coming from divisions. Look down here at Fusan. Multiple divisions are down here with their engineers. And the same with Port Arthur. Divisions are there doing a lot of that heavy lifting. All right. In China, we have a few different fronts here. Obviously, the main activity, as you can see here, it's quite wild, is north central, I don't know what to call it, central northern China. And this is what we're doing here, right? We've got a drive up towards Xi'an this way, a drive towards Xi'an this way. We have our forces at Ankang, and we also have the Blitzkrieg operation going on down here from Nanyang up the Ankang Road. All right. The goal right now is to isolate his troops on this side of this river and hold this hex right here. If we hold this hex, which is 8140, we basically starve China of all fuel that it can get from Lanchao and Urumqi. All we got to do is hold that hex. All right. And then we can start just having these Chinese troops die on the vine. Troops without supply are up to 90% less effective in combat than troops that are in supply. And all the supply right now is coming from Chongqing and Lanchao and all the other places up there, right? So if we can shut this down, we starve these troops and we prevent them from getting into Chongqing. So it's basically a race between me and Hellsen who can get to this hex first. And here's the deal. It's a mountain terrain hex, so very difficult to take if you get there before they get there. So I'm doing my best to get there. I would say our aviation, our paratrooper, and subsequent transport of troops into Anking were very helpful for us, and it kind of gave us a head start, and it gave us basically 3 hexes that we can control that we don't have to fight for now because we got there first. And then these guys are coming up the road, and once we get up in here, we can relieve these troops in Anking and continue towards our ultimate objective for now, which is 8140. And this is not really OPSEC. This is no-brainer. Every good Allied player knows this. I'm not telling you guys anything that Hellsen doesn't already know. He knows what I'm doing here. He's playing Japan before multiple times. He's probably better at it than I am. So I'm not telling you guys anything he doesn't know. But what I am doing that he isn't doing is doing it my own way. So that's the plan up here. Let's talk about this part of China down here. So here's my strategy here. I'm trying to keep these units down here and pinned down, because as long as they're down here, they're not in here reinforcing other places, right? We're definitely moving to take Consien, because why not? He's going to give it to us. We'll take it. He's retreating to Kukong, which is a much easier base to defend than Consien, because Consien is on clear terrain and Kukong is on wooded terrain, so it's better to defend there. The other thing I'm doing is I was trying to get into Nanning here, but he's reinforced it, so I stopped the movement. I just didn't think it was safe to try to get into the space with the troops that I had available. So I'm basically going to hold here until I get more troops, if I ever get more troops. I would like to open a second front down here, but this is not a priority at all. The priority is dealing with all of this up here. All right, now we'll take a look at Burma, because Burma's going very well for us, but the only reason that it is because Hellsen has elected not to fight for it. That's his strategy. A lot of Allied players do this. I understand it, because I think I tried to do the same thing in our campaign. So basically, his concern is that he can't get troops into Rangoon safely, because most good Japanese players know to put torpedo bombers in Bangkok and fighters, and you basically starve Rangoon. So if he tries to move ships in here, I'm going to take him out while they have troops aboard, and it's just too risky, right? I can put subs here. I can put aircraft here. It's too risky to try to ship the troops in, so I'm sure he's looking for a better place for his British and Indian troops to go into. My guess is that he's just going to dump them in Colombo. Or he could be moving them, I don't know, further south for all I know. I don't know. But he's definitely not going to reinforce Burma that way. We're trying to determine if he's trying to move troops down through the mountain passes this way or down the roads this way. But it's going to be very smooth sailing for our troops coming out of Rahang. We're already in Molmine, and we're... Oh, no! I forgot to set these guys to attack. Oh, man. That stinks. I should have had these guys in deliberate attack. It's too late now. So, we're not going to take Molmine this turn. But you know what? That's not really the end of the world, because we don't have the troops to follow up anyway. So, I think I got this RTA division on the way. If we have to wait one more day to take Molmine, it's really going to be okay. But I wish I had noticed this before. Yeah, these guys are currently on move and defend. They need to be on combat and deliberate. So I kind of screwed up there. But again, it's not the end of the world, because I'm not ready to take Rangoon until more of the infantry catches up, and they're way behind. So, a little mistake. I'll make a note of that. Let's see. Molmine tanks on 23 December. I wish I had seen that before, but that always happens when I look at my turn after I've sent it. I find things that I screwed up and forgot to do, and that's one of them. Oh well. All right, so let's start talking about Malaya. Overall, I think for not doing Immersing Gambit, this worked out pretty dang good for me. We're basically down to just waiting for troops to show up in Johor, and my intent is in the next few days to start to move into Singapore. Okay, we've got these troops bottled up here in Temalo. They're not going anywhere. They have no real supply path to any allied base, north or south. So they're stuck here. Unless he chooses to move them out like this way or this way, he could do that. But my guess is that he's just going to hole up here and ride it out. But once we get into Temalo and we take this base, it's lights out for these guys. It's over. There's no more opposition on the Malayan Peninsula for us. Everything is bottled up here in Singapore. He got a lot of troops in Singapore. Not all of them, but a lot of them. But once I kill them, they're done. And we don't have to play games cleaning up the Malayan Peninsula for a month after I take Singapore. Once I take it, we're done. So I kind of like the way this worked out for me. It's a little bit slower than other Japanese players are going to go, because they're going to want to do the Mercian Gambit and bum rush Singapore as quickly as possible on turn 1. For 1, our house rules did not allow it, because I specifically asked for that. And 2, I think it's extremely dangerous if Force Z elects to come out and play, right? You're dead. There's nothing you're going to be able to do to stop those guys from ravaging your convoys. And you could lose whole divisions at sea. And I'm not willing to take that risk with the Mercian Gambit. So we slow rolled it, but honestly, I think it's gone very well. So my goal is to be in Singapore by the 1st of January. If not, have it under control. I think we can do it. All right. Looking at Borneo, I am moving a little slow here, and I think I need to kind of pick it up a bit. These bases up here, with the exception of Miri, which I don't want to mess with yet, I should probably own these by now. So I'm going to start moving on these probably within a turn or two. Take Palawan. Basically these bases in northern Borneo. We do have Singkawang and Kuching. Singkawang is actually a really good base. We're in the process of expanding it to size 4. But basically it's big enough to do everything we need it to do. And right now we have Betties and Zeros at Singkawang providing support against any naval incursions by Hellsen's ships. So if he wants to send Force Z, or if he wants to use ABDA and send them up this way, he's going to eat a wall of torpedo airplanes. So I think he knows that. So he's not really attempting to come in here and do that. All right. Oh, you know what? Let's talk about the Philippines. Kind of a big situation here, right? So we're now into Manila, and next turn we are going to take it because he pulled out of here. And I was talking to Desert Wolf about this, and he is convinced that that was a big mistake. He should have attempted to stay and defend Manila, because basically what happens is he's got no troops here, and he's giving up all of the industry, right? Without troops here to fight for it, the industry is not going to get damaged, okay? The only thing that's actually damaged is to repair a shipyard here, and I don't really need that anyway. The manpower, the light industry, the resources are fully intact. So kind of a mistake to just abandon it. He could have taken half of the Clark Field garrison and left it here and really made me like claw my way and take Manila the hard way. But he bottled up into Clark, which is basically very meta for most allied players. But he surrendered all of the good industry in Manila to me by doing so. But hey, I'm not going to complain. I'll take it all day, and then twice on Sunday. Once we take Manila, then we're going to slowly work our way into Clark. And I'm in no rush here, guys. A lot of people like to really go and stomp out the Philippines. And I chose to slow roll this because if you look at it, there is no way to save these troops here. Okay, the supply will run out. You're not going to be able to reinforce it. I'm going to eventually take all these bases here, and this is going to be a giant prison. Okay, there's 100,000 allied troops in the Philippines, and they're all going to die. It's just a matter of how quickly. So what do you think about that? A lot of people have told me that I'm moving too slow in the Philippines, or that I did not commit enough troops to it, and I think they're actually wrong. I don't think that's the case. I'm gonna take my time here, and actually, I only really have, if you think about it, right? We only have one division committed to this, and some other additional pieces, right? That's not bad. That means I have more divisions to use in other places, right? A lot of extra divisions now to use in other places. I think that's a good thing. So that's what's going on in the Philippines. So one thing that has been giving me some issues is the weather in the Philippines. I have not been able to get a single bombing run on Clark until yesterday, and that is kind of bad because that means he's building up forts. But you know, whatever. I got months. I got months to wear this place down. This place will be a giant prison. Sultan, I think we should say this place will be a giant graveyard because there will be no prisoners. Because we don't take prisoners. Giant graveyard. Okay, so let's talk about the Dutch East Indies. As far as, not so much Sumatra and Java, but more along the lines of Timor, Ceram, Celebes, and all that. I think I've done a pretty dang good job here, if I say so myself. So look what we've got so far. We have all of the Moluccas islands, all 3/4 of all of Dutch New Guinea, all of Ceram. We own Manado, Ambon, Kendari, and Kupang, and these are very important bases to the Dutch. These are bases that you can launch counterattacks from, that you can put aircraft in, that you can do a lot of stuff from, and we've now denied those to Hellsen. And I don't know, honestly, with his strategy, I don't know if he was even planning on using it anyway. But hey, whatever. If he doesn't want to defend anything, that's fine with me. I'll just take it from him. But even if he wanted to now, he can no longer use these bases for any offensive operations at all. So the next base that we're looking to take is probably going to be Makassar. And I don't have a timetable on that yet, because it's going to take me some time to get things caught up and moved around and neutralize these stupid Dutch subs that have been the bane of my existence. So I want to make sure I have all those things in place before I move on Makassar, because Makassar is starting to get us dangerously close to other bases that are very important to him, like Surabaya, Balikpapan. These are bases that he can still very much launch offensive operations against us from. So I want to make sure that I have all my ducks in a row now. But overall, I think I'm done a pretty dang good job taking these bases in the Dutch East Indies. If you guys have an opinion on this, I'd love to hear it. If you think that I've gone too slow, or if I'm going really fast, or if I'm doing it just right, I'd love to hear what you think. But I'm very happy with what we've done in the Dutch East Indies so far. No complaints, really. And it's only cost us, if you think about it, let's take a look at the losses here. As far as ships sunk, right? Let's see here. We've lost, all in all, in the Dutch East Indies, we've lost, let's see here, 2 patrol boats there. An AMC. Okay, so we're looking at 5 patrol boats, 1 AMC, which is a coastal minesweeper. What else? Oh, and of course this AV. That was not good. The Kiyokawa Maru, that was a big loss to me. I wish I had not lost this ship. It's very, very good. So it wasn't so great that this thing went down. Yeah, not so good. But think about it. 5 patrol boats. 1 AV, 1 AMC. Oh, and 1 AK as well. So what, we're looking like 6 or 7 ships so far. I don't think that's that bad for all the bases that we've taken. Ambon, look at this. we only have a couple damaged ships from that whole thing, right? We didn't even lose any ships taking Ambon. So, Llama, you're saying it's just right? Okay, well, I guess I'm doing it just right then. I feel like I'm a little bit ahead of the game, but, you know, I don't really have a lot of points of comparison, right? I've only played Japan this one time, so there's definitely things I would do better next time. But overall, I'm satisfied with it. Okay. Let's take a look at the Marshall and the Gilbert Islands. Don't mind me, I'm just eating some fruit snacks because I'm hungry. So I've basically taken a strategic pause on the Gilbert Islands. And the reason being is, remember his cruisers came through here and took out a convoy with troops on it? We didn't lose a ton of troops, but we lost enough that it made me a little bit wary about operating in this area. So I'm going to let the smoke settle just a little bit here. And then we'll try again. I really just need to take Beru, Korea, and Mayana. And then I'll have basically all the bases in the Gilberts and the Marshalls. But again, these are just dot bases, so I get no points for this. It's not necessarily super important that I do it right now. But until I know where the American carriers are at, I need to be very careful operating out here. Because we just don't have a lot of ships out here to deal with this. Okay. Taking a look at the Solomons now. I've been putting on an absolute clinic on taking dot bases out here. Last turn, we took 13 bases. Now, again, these dot bases count for nothing, right? And I get that. But one thing you have to remember is I'm only using fragments of units. I'm not using whole units to do this. I'm using almost nothing to take these bases. And I want to get them done right now, get them out of the way. And then I'll take those units and recombine them and go after bigger stuff. But it's basically minimal effort to take these bases right now. I'm not using a lot of big units to do so. But if we take a look here, we own all of Bougainville. And then we're going to start cleaning up the rest of these bases in the Solomons. We got Rennell Island, Tagula, Rossel, De Boyne, Milne Bay. Next turn, we're going to take Buna. And then we're working our way down northeast New Guinea. And we only have a few more bases to take here. And I'd say this is going pretty dang good. What do you guys think about my Solomons campaign so far? Has it been good, bad, ugly, perfect? You let me know. But we've incurred basically 0 losses for this whole operation. Part of that being because Hellsen has elected not to fight. And, yeah. He's giving it to us. So now, let's talk about the big story for the campaign here. The SOPAC operation that I've got going on. So I'm going to basically walk you through what transpired to get me to this point. Okay? So obviously we know that Kido Butai is here now. Okay? But I'm going to kind of show you how I got it here. This is what we did. So you guys may remember from the start of my campaign, Kido Butai was in the Philippine Sea and we attacked Manila to take out the subs. And let me show you what we did with that as a reminder. Look at this. Allied ship sunk. Let's just look at subs. We basically neutralized the entire... almost the entire subcomplement at Manila. I think maybe 2 or 3 got away. And that was a very important thing for me because I don't like subs. I hate them. They're the bane of my existence in this game. Both on either side, right? When I play Allies, the Japanese subs wreck me. When I play Japan, the Allied subs wreck me. So I wanted to be able to neutralize the bulk of the American subfleet on turn 1, and I needed Kido Butai to do it. But now that means I have much more freedom of movement out here between the home islands, in the South China Sea, and basically all through here. I have no sub threats for at least the next month or two. And I wanted that time to start moving things around quickly and redistribute all my ships and my troops and all that other stuff without the constant threat of American subs. Because if I hadn't killed these subs in Manila, they'd be all through here just wreaking havoc on every little thing. And I didn't want to deal with it. So Kido Butai left here, sailed down past Babel, stopped that truck to refuel and top off aircraft and switch out commanders. And then from truck, we came down this way. I went a bit wide to stay out of the range of any PBY Catalinas operating out of Port Moresby. So Kido Butai went down this way. And simultaneously, as I was coming down this way, I had a troop ship convoy leave Rabaul and head down this way on the south side of the Solomon Islands. And basically, Kido Butai came down to Ndeni to support the invasion of Ndeni. Then it came down this way to support the invasion of Luganville and Efate. Well, actually not Efate, just Luganville. Then it came over this way and sat right here to support the invasion of New Caledonia, right? And we got here at the exact... this is like a stroke of absolute genius, guys. I'm so proud of myself. The troop ships got to New Caledonia at the same time as Kido Butai. So they were completely covered the entire way through. Okay? And now we've got a foothold on New Caledonia, and now we'll take Noumea soon, which is a lot of point swing, if you look at that. I love those point swings. Okay? And from there, I decided to send Kido Butai this way. And let me tell you something, guys. At no point after leaving the Philippines was Kido Butai spotted, detected, or seen. Part of that is my routing, and part of it is the fact that Hellsen has declined to put up any semblance of naval search. I don't get it. I don't want to keep drilling it because I'm afraid that he's going to catch on and figure it out. But there is absolutely no excuse or reason why Kido Butai should have gotten all the way to here without being spotted. Okay, in my campaign when I was playing, by turn 4, I already had PBYs at Luganville, at Noumea, on Fiji. I had them everywhere. I had spotting immediately within 3 turns of all these places. I decided to go into Luganville intentionally, and I took the base as the allies, and I put some seaplane tenders in there, and I had PBY searching here. I had PBY searching from Port Moresby, and they go all the way out here. He doesn't have any of it. Let me show you why. Look. That ship is not spotted. That ship is not spotted. That ship is not spotted. Nothing is spotted, guys. Nothing. So that means he is not flying any sort of naval search out of Port Moresby. Why would you do that? Why would you not put naval search up? It just seems crazy to me to allow me this freedom of movement and not have to worry about being detected at any point. I'm scratching my head on that. Desert Wolf is scratching his head on that. He can't figure it out either. There's no good reason, even if you're doing a Sir Robin method, right? Even if you're turtling up and hiding, you still should have naval search up because it gives you visibility. It gives you ideas and planning on where to go, on how to react. He could have potentially spotted my carriers a week ago and maybe made a counter move somewhere else. He's just now finding out that my carriers are in the South Pacific, right? So now he's going to send his carriers to do something. I know it. But he wasted time. He could have known a week ago. But he just does not have any naval search up. There's no good reason why you would not have naval search at Port Moresby right now. Every one of these ships that I have out here should be spotted. And nothing is spotted. So I know Hellsen is a great player, and he's done a lot of good moves this turn, in this campaign, right? He's done some good things in China. He's had some great cap traps on me, for sure. And that's something that a good player can do. But where I think that he's a little deficient is Naval Search. And I learned this the hard way in my campaign versus Lodric. If any of you guys were watching that one, early in the campaign, but this is over a year ago, by the way, I sent ABDA straight out into the Java Sea at maximum speed to engage a carrier because I saw a carrier. And I'm like, oh man, I can't believe it. There's a carrier just sitting out here. It's so juicy. I'm going to eat it up. Yum. And then I got ambushed by 4 battleships. I never saw them. And do you know why I didn't see them? Because I was using all of my seaplanes to move troops around. I was evacuating troops. I was trying to pull them out, move them into Palembang, move them into Java, just to save them. I was using all of my seaplanes to move troops. I was using almost none of them for naval search because I didn't understand the significance of it. And Lodric literally had 20 task forces with combat vessels all through here, and I didn't see any of them until it was too late. I lost the entire ABDA fleet in one day. All of it. So, you would think that Hellsen would have recognized that and not allowed it to happen to him, but nothing is spotted. Look at this guy. That's detected only because a submarine saw it. All right. I just don't get it. So, because of that lack of naval search, I was able to get Kido Butai to here. So what am I going to do with it now? Well, that's a good question. I'll tell you this. We're going to wreak some havoc. So this task force here is a bait task force, okay? This is a picket ship. There's nothing here. This is not a task force he was moving anywhere, okay? There's no supply on here. There's no troops on this. This is here as a tripwire to let him know if we're coming in to Sydney. So we'll blow this out of the water next turn. And from there, I need to decide what I want to do with the Kido Butai. Do I want to hunt convoys, do port strikes, or just turn around and head back? Maybe I was hoping that I could run into some big task forces transiting through here. But, all I caught was this. So I need to decide, is it worthwhile to... yeah, sneaky llama. Hellsen knows all these little tricks, man. This is just bait. Okay? But he's not the only guy that does this, right? I mean, if you think about it, look up here. I've got 2 patrol boats sitting out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, right? They serve absolutely no purpose but to die and tell me that something's coming through here, right? And they did that. Like, I lost the task force right here. A patrol boat was taken up by 3 destroyers last turn, and that let me know that he's sending destroyers this way. And that's big information. Otherwise, I wouldn't know until he was attacking my ships over here, okay? So I put that bait out here, and now I know exactly that he's coming this way, and he may have carriers. It may just be a surface raid. It could be anything. But these little tripwire bait picket ships are super important to both sides. And that's basically what this is, right? And that's okay. I'm not trying to say that what Hellsen is doing is illegal or against the rules or even cheap or gamey, because I do it too. Sneak around. Well, here's the problem now, Llama. I can't sneak around anymore. There's no sneaking around. Kido Butai is detected. And now that he knows that I'm here, he's probably going to snap out of his daze, his fog, and start activating naval search and get aircraft ready for defense. So there's no sneaking around anymore. Like, I can't just get to Melbourne without him knowing it. And there's something else you have to consider with Kido Butai. I am really far away from safety. Rabaul is the closest base that I've got that can really do anything for me as far as rearming and refueling. So the further that I get down south here, the harder it is for me to get back. So I think this is kind of the line that we're going to be able to go to for now with Kido Butai. It's just a matter of me deciding what direction and what to do with it after this. I'm going to give you a little hint, guys. I've already made the decision and we've already implemented it. So next turn, when you watch this, you will see what we're going to do. But I don't want to talk about it now because I want to leave a little surprise, or else it's no fun, right? But I guarantee you it will be fun, and I'm going to learn a lot from it because this is going to be my first time doing something like this, and hopefully you guys learn from it too, because what I've got planned is not something that you see too often. And I'm doing it, one, because I think it's worthwhile points wise, and two, I don't see it demonstrated very often at all. So I think it'll be good for everybody to learn this. At the end of the day, this campaign is a learning campaign for me. I have no illusion to beating Hellsen here. I don't think I can beat him. I really don't. He's too good, and I'm not good enough. But I am learning stuff every single day and taking copious notes on what I'm doing good and what I'm doing wrong, so that when I do another Japanese campaign, which I guarantee you that I will, I can hit it harder right out of the gate and not make the same mistakes. Because I love playing Japan. I didn't realize it until I finally did it. I love the industry, right? I love the production. I love the fact that you're always on a shoestring budget. I love the fact that you're always at risk of losing important ships and you don't get any more. And I also like the fact that you can be super offensive at the first year of the campaign, really. I mean, 6 months for guaranteed, but depending on how the allies are doing, you can go harder than that. And I am really excited about the upcoming days and weeks of this campaign, because I've got big plans. And I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun for you to watch, and I'm going to learn from it. And if we fail and we don't do well, then, you know, oh well. It's not the end of the world. I will play this through, and I will learn from it and do better. And you guys will learn too if you're new to this stuff like I am. So basically, we've gone around the entire map and talked about all the important stuff. I'd like to open up the floor real quick before I shut this stream down and ask if there are any more questions or anything else you guys want to see. Industry-wise, production-wise, anything like that. Please let me know, and we'll go over it real quick. Let's see here. Let me... save that. All right, let's see here. What else can we look at? Okay, real quick as I get ready to wrap this up, we did land at on Mindanao last turn at Dajen Gas and Davao. And this isn't necessarily to, you know, start capturing the place. The intent here is basically to just start another front here on Mindanao. Am I going to play till I get nuked? What does that mean to get nuked? Renew? Are you talking like a sudden carrier loss syndrome as Japan? I would like to say that I'm not gonna quit then, because that's so cliche and so typical of Japanese players to do that, and I don't want to be like that. And plus I want to see what I can do if I do get nuked, right? But any radar tech being deployed? Well, radar tech, that's a good question. I can't really research it. This game doesn't have a research component as it pertains to those things. What you get is devices becoming available at their historical rate. So let me show you what that would look like. The database, right? These are devices. Now you have devices, okay? Oh, getting nuked. Oh, yes. Oh, Renew, I get it. Getting nuked. Well, maybe. I would love to think that we're going to get that far. Hopefully that's 1945, right? Yeah. At some point we have to call it, right? I think I would call it when I get nuked. I think that would be it. But again, I haven't had that discussion with Hellsen because we've got a couple thousand turns to go until we get to that point. So let's see. I would love to say that I'm going to play to the end. I'll leave it at that. Anyway, to answer a question about radar tech, um, these are the devices that have radar, okay? And then basically they become available on a certain date. So what you do is you basically have to go and allow these units to upgrade. Let's see if we can find uh, um, an example of that. This sound detector here, right, is a Tai Chi 1 radar. It's available on... So let's see what the Tai Chi 1 radar is. So Tai Chi 1 radar, for example, is right here. It has a range of 45,000. I guess that's accuracy of 20. Effective of 20. It's air search, and it becomes available on March. It comes available on March of 1942. So what you do then is you have to find units that have the preceding set, which is a sound detector, and then you have to upgrade those units, and then that device will be put in there accordingly. So that's how you kind of research and do stuff with radar, for example. I don't get to research it. It's predetermined when it's going to come in. Well, yeah, the searchlights, right? They kind of work like that, if you think about it. The searchlights, search radar, right? Yeah, there you go. All right, so good questions. Okay, Rena, what did you say? You've never seen an India or Australia invasion play out. I would love to see the use of nuclear weapons. Well, hey, tell you what, maybe you'll get to see an Australia or India invasion in this campaign. I haven't said either way, right? Maybe I'm not. Maybe I am. You never know. So just keep watching, and I guarantee you, you'll see something great. I have big plans. It's all been planned out. I don't want to discuss it now because that wouldn't be any fun, right? Plus, you know, the walls always have ears, and I don't know if we have any spies in here, so I don't want Hellsen to know where I'm going because he'll just start taking, he'll, you know, make plans to defeat it. So what am I going to say? But hey, with this lack of naval search, I could probably get to the landing zone without even him knowing it, right? All right, guys. Is there anything else? Last chance. I'm gonna shut this down otherwise. So, in the meantime, I'm really glad you guys all stopped by today. For those of you who are watching after the fact, when this has already been recorded, if you have any questions, by all means, please come to my Discord server and ask for permission to join the Japan side, and I'll answer your questions there. I'd be happy to do that. All right. Well, okay. You'd like to see a New Zealand invasion? Yeah. Well, I don't know if I'm willing to go that far south. I think that's a little bit too far for me. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great evening, and keep watching my videos and come to Discord. Do all that stuff. Bye bye.